Hi, everyone. Welcome to Yoga with Cheryl. I wanted to do a short video today on mobility for the wrists. So when I have classes in studio, I actually had a class on Thursday mornings that was called Yoga for Wellness, and it specifically dealt with yoga for mobility in our specific joints, energy in our body. I just wanted to break that down and offer these shorter classes with particular attention to the area of our wrists. So we'll begin by coming into a comfortable seat. And for today, that may mean that you're sitting in a chair. So this would also be appropriate for desk workers, especially people sitting at a keyboard. So wherever you're at, inviting you to turn your gaze downward or just close your eyes for a moment, closing those eyelids nice and softly. Allow the corners of your lips to be slightly upturned. Start to notice where the breath is in your body. So we start to turn the mind inward into that interior landscape, moving it away from the external world. What's going on with my breath? What does my breath have to tell me right now in this moment? If the breath feels short and choppy, it might be telling you that you're hyperactive right now in your brain, that it's had to be mobilizing all over the place, multitasking. Right now, giving yourself permission to come into this one single point of focus, and what a relief that will be for the brain. Simply to come in and feel the breath. And once you've established what the breath is telling you, would it be of benefit to maybe bring in a little more oxygen? Maybe by guiding the breath down in towards the lower part of your rib cage. And as you bring it into the lower part of your rib cage, see if you can feel it through the circumference of your ribs. And that will be the breath that we'll use to relax us or energize us, whatever your focus is. If you need to be energized, you'll focus more on the inhalation. If you need to calm down the mind and bring a sense of ease and maybe slowing things down, bring more attention to the sensations of the out-breath. Regardless, we see if we can allow the breath lengths to be at least of the same duration. So if you're breathing in to a count of 3, then breathing out to at least a count of 3. If you'd like to maximize that sense of release and relaxation, you might allow the exhalation to be slightly longer. And as you're here today, I'm imagining that you're here because of the title of this video, for wellness of your wrists, for feeling a sense of mobility and health through the wrists. So maybe setting that intention that may I take care of my wrists, may my wrists feel well. May I maximize healing energy in the area of my wrists. And may the movements that I do today facilitate that wellness in the area of my wrists. And allowing the eyes to open if they're not. And begin to bring your hands together and just have you rub your hands together. And you're going to create some heat. This also warms up the arms, and the movement heats up muscularly, but also some energetic heat between your hands. And you're going to take those hands now and start to massage your hands. And if they still feel a little bit cool, you can rub those hands again. We often do this and cup our eyes, but today we're doing this to feel that energy, that heat between our palms, and then give it right back to ourselves. We're going to take that heat from our hands and just start to massage those hands. There's no particular way of doing this, although to be attentive to it, to be attentive to any sensations, and paying attention to your wrists too, of course. But I like to get first into this meaty part here in my thumbs. All of this is connected, of course, to the wrists. If your fingers are clenched like this, even if you do this with your fingers, you'll feel that right into your wrists. So we want to take good care of the whole part of our hands. Our poor fingers, especially because of COVID and the pandemic, being stuck at a computer, and even to come and find me online, you had to type something into your phone or into your tablet or into your desktop, and contributing to any discomfort, although some of us have the ability to speak to our phones and pull up what we need. I haven't mastered that yet. So just massage the hands a little bit more. This place right in between the thumb and the index finger often holds a lot of tension for me anyway. Maybe getting into all the fingers. So let's come to one of the thumbs and just gently from where the finger meets the hand, and then gently kind of massaging all the way out towards the tips. If you have rings on, you might want to remove them, depending on how many you have on. Start to go to my other hand, starting at my thumb. Of course, you can slow this down if you like. The beauty of it not being live is that you can pause anywhere and spend a little more time. We're going to hear a train go by soon. Oftentimes I cut and edit. I think sometime I might make a blooper of all of the editing pieces. If you only knew what my dogs did that I edit out, or the doorbell ringing, or trains going by, or neighbors knocking at the door, or Purelator being delivered. Such is life. So now we're going to just keep massaging. I'm coming now into the tissue around my wrists. I like to come in that space just above the wrists. And there, again, there's no right or wrong here. Sort of really tune in and use your instinct here. Just getting the blood flowing. You might notice that you're heating up. I know that I am. From this very simple movement, I'm starting to feel heat all through my torso, actually. And isn't that interesting? And of course, the breath is continuing to flow in a way that you're aware of. There. And then just kind of like, I'm going to take that and we're going to pull any negative energy off. And whether or not you believe in that or not, doesn't matter. Just maybe perform this movement anyway and realize that it kind of feels effective for some reason. So pulling away any stale, negative energy, and I start to flick those fingers. And not only for energetic purposes, but also just to kind of allow them to move around. I'm going to wave them around a little bit, shake them out. It's always fun when we're in a room full of people and you see everybody waving their hands in the air. So I'll just imagine that I see you doing that at home. So I'm going to have you flick, flick, flick. Then I'm going to have you wave your hands up and down. And bring them back onto your thighs. Notice how they're kind of buzzing with energy, how they feel like there's a vibration there. Maybe it feels like there's the energy and the blood is flowing and circulating a little bit better. Take a couple of breaths into that feeling of being alive, that sense of aliveness in your hands. And if you really want to play with this a little bit, you can bring your palms close together, not quite touching, just close together. And focus on the space between your hands. So don't lock the hands. They're here in a relaxed way. The fingers are kind of soft. And bring your attention into that space between your hands. Maybe closing your eyes if you find that helpful. And it's like you can feel an orb or a ball of energy between your palms starting to build. Don't overthink it. Just feel into it. Once you've tapped into that, begin to slowly, slowly pull your palms away. And it'll feel almost like there's a magnet trying to hold them together. And then slowly bring your hands back together like you're kind of compressing that. Just play with that a little bit. I find that really fascinating, that you can feel into that prana, that energy. Might seem a little woo-woo for some of you. Play along with me. Just give it a little bit of a try and just see. So we're going to take that energy and we'll use it. Begin to interlace your fingers. And I'm going to remove my rings. Interlacing your fingers. Begin to really wiggle them in close towards the joints and let your fingertips press down. I'm going to drop my shoulders down away from my ears and allow a gentle stretch through the under part of the hands by pressing the fingers down as I lift my wrists slightly up. And of course, anytime we're doing anything with regards to yoga or this practice, we always just come to the first place of sensation. We don't have to go beyond that into, oh, how far can I go and how deep can I go? Come to the first place of sensation, stay and breathe there. Start to extend those arms out. Draw the elbows closer together so they're a little bit more parallel. Maybe press your back, round your back as you drop your chin in. And then come back up. Soften the elbows, bring them back to your chest, and then press your palms away again, round out your spine. And come back to center. We'll do that one more time. Press and round, look down toward your navel. And come back through center as you inhale. And release those hands. Pause again for a moment. If you're sitting and you want to recross your legs another way, of course, do that. So let's begin to bring our hands and bring your palms together. This time lifting your elbows up. So if you are on the ground, sometimes we do this on the ground, and feel free if you're sitting. I know if you're in a desk, this won't be possible. But if you are sitting on the floor as I am, you can do this same movement on the floor. So maybe bring your fingers so they're pointing in towards each other and pressing down into your palms. Now this 90 degrees isn't always suitable for everyone. Some wrists don't do that, so don't force it. Maybe yours is more like 70 degrees or 50 degrees. It's coming into a stretch here. I'm actually going to rotate my hands several ways. Maybe you want to play with that too. And then kind of feeling like a seal, rotating your fingers away. You can do this sitting as well, sitting at your desk, or if you're on a wall, you can try it on a wall. I'll take some nice conscious breaths in each of these shapes. And then if it's available, maybe rotate your fingers back. And again, it might be kind of something like this. Your palms may be off the floor. It's coming into the sensation. And get a nice lengthening through the under part of the wrists here. And this again can be done from seated simply by pressing the fingers down. And release that. So do the other way. So bringing the tops of your hands or the backs of your hands So again, if you're sitting, it can be like this, and simply rotating the fingers down. If you're on the floor, you can bring the backs of your hands to the ground. Again, first place of sensation. Getting a stretch through the top of the wrists now. And just as we did when we had our palms on the ground, maybe play with rotating your hands around. I know it looks kind of weird. Exploring, breathing. And when you've had enough of that, you release that out. Begin to circle your wrists. Kind of feel like an orchestra. A conductor. Feeling like a conductor, perhaps, of your own orchestra. Moving them around. I'm going to take the arms out to the side as you do this movement. And then moving the other way. So you'll notice here we're also getting into the elbows and the shoulders. All this tissue is related. Now take your fingers and wiggle them at me. This might be one that children can do at home too. They're probably stuck on their computers. Shaking it out again. Let your palms rest again on your thighs. Close your eyes for a moment and just again feeling into that hum of aliveness in your hands and your wrists and your fingers. A vibration, prana. Enjoying that. Take a deep breath in and release. And bring your hands forward, making fists, circling your wrists. Your arms don't have to be locked forward. It can be more relaxed. Do the other direction. Maybe they move in tandem, or maybe they move kind of more like pedaling a bicycle. Beautiful. So release that. Extend your palms facing up. Spread your fingers wide. Stretch them down, stretch them down, stretch them down. Curl the fingers in. Draw those fingers into the shoulders. Stretch the arms down, 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 down. Roll them in. One more time. Stretch the arms down. Palms, fingers down, and draw them in. And bring those hands and roll them in towards your shoulders. And do that a couple of times. There's really no kind of magic to this. Just want you to move and get the blood and energy flowing through the arms. So we're going to finish up by just sweeping away any negative energy. So taking your hand and sweeping it away. And you can do them simultaneously. You can do one at a time. Do the tops and the bottoms. So under, under, over, over. Side, sides. You can do one arm at a time, brushing all of that from the shoulder down, out through the fingers. Again, you'll start to feel heat doing just this. You're like, how is that possible? I'm hardly doing anything at all. That's the beauty of prana and moving energy. There. So just take good care. Make sure you've done even. It's important to move the energy out and down. I accidentally swept up there. We want to take it out and down. Hands rest. Again, feeling into that aliveness, the energy buzzing in the hands. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths to end this. Inhale through the nose and out through the mouth, dispelling any excess negative energy now. Again. Again, inhale into your ribs and release. Thank you for joining me for this brief video on mobility in the hands and the fingers and the wrists. And we did touch on the shoulders as well, energizing through our arms, which is, by the way, connected also to the energy of our hearts. So you also worked on that. Thank you. Tune in again. There will be others in this series, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a fantastic day.